but I think we can do it. So, globally, here's what I learned Friday. The United States has zero grain and food reserves. Zero. India has zero. China has zero. With very few exceptions, there are no food reserves in the world. Something goes wrong, we're all coming down. Okay? China and India have suddenly realized that. They have put a moratorium on all development of agricultural land, and they've ordered their local officials to be responsible. You know what that means in China? You screw up, okay? And they have gone into the WTO and they've said, to hell with you, we're doing tariffs. You're not getting our stuff. We got to have it for home. And furthermore, they've been buying up all of ours and eating it. So it's gone. That's the situation globally. Okay? So what we have here is a global, if not yet local, food insecurity situation coming right up. At the same time, we have an incredible interest in growing our own food for a whole bunch of reasons that I could enumerate, but I'm sure you're already convinced that that's happening, and it may turn out to be a pretty much permanent phenomenon by choice or by necessity. So, what we're talking about here is homeland security. People are going to get the message, and they're going to go to growing their own food. And if you think it's not important, there's only two things I can think of more important, and I'm talking about the whole picture here of soils and fertility, and that's air and water. After that comes food. So, I am convinced from my years of being in this business that there is a big market out there for a truly organic, mineralized, microbe-inoculated, soil-based worm castings and potting mix. And for a truly organic garden soil mix, which is what I'm proposing we do. The idea is we grow the worm castings for the biological activity and introducing a highly soluble, really rich, mineral-rich, nutrient-rich media, biologically active, that goes into the potting soil. We made potting soil here in the past with using soil and our own formula, and we still use it when we do potting. At one point we were selling a lot of it, making it and selling it, and then we got out of that because the guy who was doing it left and so forth. But there's a demand out there for it. There's an incredible demand for a decent garden soil mix. And the thing is, I know this because I have people coming in all the time complaining. Most of what is out there for garden soil mixes is junk. And if we can create what I'm calling the perfect garden soil mix and keep working at perfecting it, and hopefully offer it at a reasonable but premium price, people are going to flock to it. They're going to come back for it. The word's going to spread. Theoretically, we could steal this market away from Great Western and some of the other local manufacturers. Or I have in mind a couple of them cooperating with them, possibly licensing what we do. Because originally I was thinking we would either start making the soil mix itself here on a pilot scale and then go out and find some land and some buildings and some equipment and so on and so forth. But it may be a whole lot smarter to just go to these guys that have got the space, they've got the equipment, they've got the trucks. What they don't have is the knowledge. It's junk because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what's really needed. And they're selling people what people think they need. Okay? But I'm telling you, we get a lot of people coming in saying this stuff is junk and it brought me this problem and that problem and so forth. And so that's the object, is to come up with something that really performs and hopefully performs superbly. And so I'm calling it a superb garden soil mix that produces abundant, nutrient-dense crops, food or other things if you want to grow other things. So that's the situation, and this is the need. And I feel it is our goal to try to create the perfect garden soil, or approach it and keep working on it, and to have high standards for what we sell. Otherwise, they're not coming back. They're not going to be promoting it by word of mouth and so forth. So, I mentioned that there's going to be this rise in food gardening. There's going to be a food demand. There's an insecurity situation. There's a lack of reserves of food. People are getting wise to what's going on, I think. Population growth. I'm not quite 70. In my lifetime, the world population has tripled from 2 billion to 6 billion. Where is it going from here? But guess how much more land has been made? There's about 4 billion acres of arable land. We gain a little bit and we give a lot up to development. So probably there's still 4 billion, same as when I was born. Okay, the land base for agriculture horizontally is shrinking. So what we have to do is we have to vertically integrate. We have to make more out of what we got by going down and going up. And this is where the worm comes in. It's a big part of it. So we gotta be able to produce more and better food on a small area. And gardening areas are getting smaller and smaller. And so part of the answer, I think, is this bed that we're talking about, used as a garden bed that we put soil in, a soil mix. We put everything in there that the plants need. And it simplifies things. It takes a lot of the frustrations and the failure and so forth out of it. That's an aim of the advanced gardening system. We're trying to set this up so people have to spend a little money initially, but it's a lifetime thing, and all they got to do is occasionally add our potting mix, because it's got everything in it to revitalize it. The bottom 2/3 of that bed will be our basic garden mix. The top third, or the top 6 inches, will be potting mix stirred into the garden mix, and slowly through rain and so forth, that will leach down into the bottom as well.